long-time friend, also instrumental in starting preaching in New Jersey. He has been the temple president of Tobacco Temple for more than 20 years? No, 10 years. 10 years. So let's welcome him with a loud Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Also, today, just our Harish Prabhu, few hours back, an hour back, has lost his van key somewhere from that area to somewhere in the temple hall. If you find it, Toyota Sienna or key, car key, black key, please contact Harish Prabhu. We can just stand up, Harish Prabhu. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu. Madhupati Prabhu is the first one who served me, gave me Bale Puri Prasadam. It was a new experience. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Today is the appearance day of, anybody? Oh, very good, yeah. Gadadhar Pandit. He's a member of the Pancha Tattva. Have you heard of the Pancha Tattva before? Pancha means, Tattva means truths, yeah. So Gadadhar Pandit. So I thought usually they sing some song before the kirtan, before the class, isn't it? So what should we sing? I thought, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, some of you, has anybody read the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Some of it? Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Anyway, Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. For how long did it take? Yeah, not more than an hour and a half at most, but 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Yeah. And he gave very essential instructions to his devotee Arjuna on spiritual life. Many of you know verses from the Bhagavad Gita, perhaps. Anybody? Yes. Yes, who spoke that? Who spoke that? Dhritarashtra Uvacha, yeah. He said, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do on that battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Dharmakshetra, desirous to fight? Yeah. Anyway, so Krishna's instructions were very important to Arjuna to take him out of his misery and to help him make progress in spiritual life. I suppose some of you here might want to make progress in spiritual life. Is that true? Anybody raise their hand? Yeah. Okay, very good, very good. A few, yeah. So, Lord Chaitanya, the most recent incarnation of Krishna, he spoke transcendental knowledge to Sanatana Goswami, not for an hour and a half or less, but for one whole month. Did you catch that? For a whole month. So you can imagine, Bhagavad Gita is the beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam is this graduate study, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is postgraduate study. There's so much relishable transcendental information in the Chaitanya Charitamrita given by the same Krishna. You won't find any 1 ounce or 1 inch of difference between the teachings of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya in Chaitanya Charitamrita, although there's more and more detail. So I encourage everybody, if you don't have Chaitanya Charitamrita, please look into getting that, if they can arrange for that. Very wonderful, wonderful teachings. It's very relishable. Another thing is that there are different ages of the universe. This is called what yuga? Kali Yuga, yeah. Krishna appeared in the last age of Dvapara Yuga. This is Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, every time there's things change, things are different, you have to have the religious principles are adjusted to a certain degree according to the time. Did you know that? Krite yadhyayato Vishnum, Tretayam yajata makai, Dvapare parichayayam. What's the last line, you know? Kalautad harikirtanat. In Satya Yuga, Krite, the recommended method of making spiritual progress was dhyan. Like many people, they practice Ashtanga Yoga. Technically, if you want to be successful, ideally, to do that kind of yoga, you should go to the Himalayas. It's not so easy. Very, very troublesome. Yeah. But in Kali Yuga, this is Kali Yuga, different. Kalautat Harikirtanam. So Chaitanya specifically came to teach how to be Krishna conscious, how to be make spiritual advancement in the here and now, today in Kali Yuga. So that's why it's so very important and valuable. Same principles that Krishna mentions, but adapted perfectly for us today in the Kali Yuga. Do you follow? Does it make sense? Okay, all right. So I thought we would chant. There are different mantras. Some of you know Rama Rameti Rameti Rama Rame Manorame Sahasranama Bitulyam Rama Nama Varanane. You chant 1,000 names of Vishnu, you can get the same benefit. How? By chanting one name of Ram. And then it says, Sahasranamnam Punyanam Trir Avrityu Chelat Palam Eka Vrityu to Krishnasya Mamekam Tat Prayachchati. You chant the Vishnu Sahasranam, or the 1,000 names of Vishnu, 3 times, and you get the same benefit by chanting Krishna once. Ekavritya, one time. Ekavritya to Krishna. So there's many mantras in the Vedas, but there's something called the Maha Mantra. Many mantras, very powerful. People say, like Lord Nrsingadev's appearance day is coming up, and people like to chant Ugram Viryam Mahavishnu Dvaram Tam Vam Sarvato Mukam. You know that mantra? Okay. And they say, this is a very powerful mantra, right? Have you heard that? But you know what the most powerful mantra is? Hare Krishna. That's why it's the Maha Mantra. Yeah, you can't do any better than that. Interestingly, the Panchatattva mantra is also called a Maha Mantra, because when you chant the Panchatattva mantra, it allows you to chant the Hare Krishna mantra without offense. You clear your offenses and you can quickly get the result of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Did you know that? Lord Krishna says, he's very strict. Sarvatarman parityaja mamekam sharanam braja. That's it. Surrender to me. And we may not be really up to that. But Lord Chaitanya was very merciful. Patita pavana hetu tava vatar moshama patita prabhu napayibayar. Lord Chaitanya is known as Patit Pavan. He delivers the most fallen. And if we're fallen, if we're troubled, then he'll help us. So therefore, before chanting Hare Krishna, we chant the Panchatattva Maha Mantra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. That clears the way for us to make progress in chanting Hare Krishna. Maybe you didn't know that. So you may have learned something today. Yes? Yes? Hare Krishna. So because Srila Gadadhar Pandit is one of the 5 members of the Panchatattva, I thought it would be appropriate to chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra, and then briefly Hare Krishna also. Srila Prabhupada also sometimes chanted the Panchatattva, although usually he only chanted it a few times before chanting Hare Krishna, but sometimes he chanted it more. So we'll chant it some more. And we're going to chant it using the morning tune. Little information for you. In the early days of the Hare Krishna movement, I joined the Hare Krishna movement in 1971. Can you believe it? How many years ago is that? How many years? Thank you. Thank you. So in those days, we chanted, things were a little different, some things. And we chanted the Panchatattva Mahamantra using the morning tune. I'll sing it for you. And then I'll sing it how we do it today, okay? And see if you notice any difference, all right? Are you on? Are you game? Are you game? Okay. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. And now I'll say it how we sing it nowadays, okay? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Very good. Did anybody catch the difference between those two versions? Anybody? Raise your hand. What was that? What about Gadadhar? Yeah. In the first version, the Gadadhar was very clear, right? It was said fully. And in the second version, it was Gadadhar Shivasadi. It was kind of put together. Prabhupada always chanted the first way, so with Gadadhar. And the second way was introduced about 1972 by a devotee. He thought, well, let's get it together. It's a little easier to put it inside the beat, with a mridanga beat particularly, to get Gadadhar Shivasadi. It shortens it by one beat, so it's better. So then everybody picked up the second way, but nobody chants the first way anymore, practically. But particularly, you know why I'm talking about this today? Any guesses why I would talk about this today? Yes, very good, because this is Srila Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day. So we may want to especially give full appreciation to Gadadhar. So we're going to chant it that way. I'm just hiding this because even though I warned you to chant with me, many people chanted it the other way because most people chant it the other way nowadays. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything like that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying that's how we chanted in the beginning, and that's how Srila Prabhupada always chanted it that first way, never the second way. It was very interesting. Okay? You follow. Either way is good, very good. But we like to do the way Srila Prabhupada did things. Okay? In Christianity, there's a saying. Maybe we don't have any Christians here? No. But they say WWJCD. WWJCD. Anybody know what that means? What would Jesus Christ do? What would Jesus Christ do? And in the Hare Krishna movement, we say WWSPD. What would Srila Prabhupada do? Because he's the founder Acharya. So we want to at least check with that. It gives us guidance about how we do things. There's a nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. etan nirvidyamananam ichchatam kutobayam yoginam nripanirnitam harinamanu kirtanam. If you want to know the doubtless and fearless, do you have doubts? If you're doing the right thing, sometimes you might. Doubtless and fearless way of success for everybody, whether you're free of desires or you're a yogi or you're an impersonalist, is to chant the holy names of the Lord following the ways of the great authorities. Following the ways of the great authorities. That great authority is not me. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is the great authority, at least in the Hare Krishna movement, following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll do some, see if you can get it. I know it's, habits are not easy to break. Actually, there's a video of Srila Prabhupada in New York in 1973 when the devotee first got his mom, Pancharatna, bought him a video recorder, first video recorder in ISKCON. And they were recording Srila Prabhupada. And they recorded him doing a kirtan. And Prabhupada, kirtan was really slow. And Prabhupada had him play it back in his quarters. And he said, I really like this kirtan, he said. But it started off really slow, like. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Chaitanya. Yeah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda See, once you do it a certain way, it's really hard to change, isn't it? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Paribrajak Acharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Bashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai, Ganga Mayi ki jai, Jamuna Mayi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shamaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Thank you for chanting so nicely. It was actually very beautiful to hear your chanting. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Really. It's very nice. So we're supposed to speak today about Srila Gadadhar Pandit. You know, most of the people from India know a couple of verses at least from Bhagavad Gita, usually from the 4th chapter. Which two are those? Yeah, come on, let's hear it. Very good, very good. And it goes further. It's not just that and stop there. But those are very, very essential, important verses in the Bhagavad Gita, as you know. And in the Christian world, they're waiting for the second coming of Christ. Did you know that? Yeah, they're waiting because they believe Jesus Christ is coming again. And in the Vedic world, we say, from that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna comes not once, not twice, but unlimited times, again and again and again and again. This is very reassuring to us. You get more than one chance. Ideally, though, in this life, you can finish your business in this life and stop your material activities and go back to Godhead. That's why the Vedas say, Tamasi ma jyotigama, asatoma satgama, mrityoma. Yeah. Now it's the chance we have to go from death, mritya, death, amritya, to deathlessness. And for that reason, Lord Krishna comes, incarnates, takes the trouble to come from the spiritual sky. Avatar means one who descends from a higher place to a lower place for that purpose. Not the only purpose. That's not the only purpose. To paritranaya sadhunam. Paritranaya sadhunam means what? What is it? Paritrana means to deliver them, to save them, to rescue them. Are anybody a devotee here? Anybody? Raise your hand, please. It's okay. Okay, we got a few. Yeah. Yes. How does he rescue you? How does he save you? You quoted the verse. He saves you because from repeated death. That's how he saves you. He's coming to save you from death. In his many incarnations, again and again, because you and I are not meant for death. We're eternal spirit souls. But encased with the body, thinking we're the body, we become absorbed in our bodily idea and consciousness, and then again and again and again, we take birth and we die. And then you know what happens? We get another body according to the way we've developed our consciousness and our desires. And how long does that stuff go on? A long, long, long time. It's almost as if you can't get out. It's almost as if you can't get out. But you can get out. Lord Krishna comes in his various incarnations to show us the way. But we have to pay attention. We have to be willing to take the instruction, to take the recommendation. Yeah? Actually, most of us, me included, we are usually lulled into a false sense of security, thinking, nobody needs to save me. Nobody needs to rescue me. I am strong. I am intelligent. I have social support. I've got money. I've got relatives and friends. There's no need for any problem. I have no problem. You know what that's called? Illusion. We don't realize, we forget that the Grim Reaper, you know who the Grim Reaper is? That's death. Is just waiting around the corner, just waiting just for the right time to pounce and mess up all of our plans and all of our comforts that we think are just due. Therefore, Srimati Kunti Devi says, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shibir Edhamana Madapuman Naivar Hatya Bidatumbai Twam Akinchana Gochara. Oh, my dear Lord Krishna, you can be approached, but it's very difficult for people who are mada. Mada means intoxicated. You know, when somebody's intoxicated, I have to work with people who are intoxicated sometimes. I do psychology work. And one of the highlights of being intoxicated is you have a false sense that you can do anything practically. There was one famous Harvard professor, you know Harvard? Harvard professor, and intoxicated on a certain drug. He decided he had a very strong idea that he could fly. So you know what he did? Guesses? He jumped out the window. Crash. He didn't die, but he broke some bones. That's the intoxication. And it's very common that people, when they're a little bit intoxicated, think, I can drive very nicely, no problem. I'm in very good shape. But they're not. And what happens? Trouble. So part of intoxication is that we think everything's good, everything's fine, we're doing fine, there's no problem. But in fact, there's difficulty. Every moment, we're going closer and closer to death. And then what will happen at the time of death? Do you know? So Lord Chaitanya, he mentions Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Chao Maya Pishachira Kole. He says, he's calling us, Jeev Jago, wake up, us, wake up. How long are you going to stay sleeping in the lap of the witch Maya? How long is it going to go on? There was a famous scientist in Long Island. Anybody been to Long Island here? It's not that far away. His name was Alfred Loomis. And he experimented with radar and stuff like that. We're talking during the Second World War, not that long ago. But he also had an interest in brain waves. You know, alpha, beta, those brain waves. So he wondered, when someone is in deep sleep, he could measure the brain waves, what is their conscious, are they conscious? So, as most experimenters do, he experimented on his own son, who was a teenager. He put him in the laboratory, and he had him go to sleep, and he was monitoring his brain waves. And his son had his favorite possession was a brand new boat. They were a little bit wealthy, had a boat, nice boat. I forget the name of it. We'll call it Matilda boat. So he had his son go to sleep, and he was monitoring his brain waves. And when he saw that his son was in deep, deep sleep, he announced over a microphone, Matilda is on fire. You follow? You don't follow? Matilda is his boat. Matilda is on fire, he's announcing. Yeah, okay. So what did his son do? He immediately got up and started trying to yeah. So even in deep, deep sleep, the sound woke him up. So this is the Hare Krishna movement. The Hare Krishna movement means even in the slumber of deep sleep and of spiritual life, our soul we're oblivious to things. The sound of Krishna, Hare Krishna, the Krishna sound will penetrate our sleeping condition and wake us up to our real condition, Ayi nanda tanuja kinkaram patita mam vishabe bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita duli sadrasham vishintaya. I am, oh my Lord, I am your eternal servitor. But somehow I fall into this ocean of death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as an atom at your lotus feet. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya, I mentioned before, he's the most, Krishna's coming. Out of his kindness he comes. He doesn't, it's not like, when you do work, sometimes it's hard and it's burdensome. But Krishna, when he comes, he does many things. There's, the word clever? Anybody who's clever here? So according to this nectar devotion, clever means that you can do many things at the same time. You can multitask and do it very efficiently. So Lord Krishna comes, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya dushkatam, dharma sangstapanartha, all these things he can do effortlessly and for fun. And he does that. And the most recent incarnation is Lord Chaitanya. But when Krishna comes, he doesn't come alone. He's not a lonely person. When you go on yatra, did anybody go on yatra here? Yeah. Did you go by yourself? No. You all want to go with your friends, your family, your friends to go on yatra. So when Krishna comes, he comes with his associates, his internal close associates. And not only that, he brings the whole spiritual world with him to here. That's pretty amazing. This is he can do because he's God. Okay. And for Lord Chaitanya, when Lord Chaitanya came, I'm talking about Lord Chaitanya because Gadadhar Pandit is his close associate. Okay? When Lord Chaitanya was first met by Rupa Goswami, one of his close followers later, Lord Chaitanya was addressed, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namne Gaudati She Namaha. Means the Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He's in golden complexion, but he's even more merciful than Krishna. I was giving a class, Madhupati Prabhu was telling me that he was in Tawako, in the Tawako temple. And I gave a class once and I said that, and people practically rioted. What do you mean? What do you mean Lord Chaitanya is more merciful than Krishna? Krishna's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya is that same Krishna. That same Krishna. But he's Krishna in the color and the mood of Srimati Radharani. What other incarnation of God canvases to get people to go back to Godhead and free themselves from their material life? What other incarnation? Can you name any? No, you won't find any. The other incarnations are certainly wonderful, but only Lord Chaitanya is canvassing. You please chant Hare Krishna. You please go back to Godhead. Stop material activities. Don't stop the material activities and chant the holy names. Lord Chaitanya did this. And his associates, the Panchatattva, they were essential in assisting him in that mission. Therefore, in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes this, he says this prayer. It's a very interesting prayer. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam, Bhaktarupa Swarupakam, Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Have you heard that prayer before? Yeah. There's variety. Many people from a Hindu background, they get this idea that everything's one. Did you ever know that? Ever hear that? Doesn't matter, you worship this one, they're all the same. Yeah, everything's one. Well, we agree that everything's one, but at the same time, there's difference. That's called Achintya Bhed Abhed Tattva. The sun and the sunshine are one, but they're also different. God is one, but he's also many varieties. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana Purusham, Navayovanam cha. Lord Brahma says, Advaitam, God is one. Achyutam, he never falls down. Anadi, not he's beginningless. Anantarupam. What does Anantarupam mean? He's got unlimited forms, and his form is unlimited. So how can you be one and many at the same time? It baffles your mind. That's what we mean by God is inconceivable. In the material world, something is one thing, it can't be another thing, right? But this is God. God has to be beyond your limited conception. So Krishna, as Lord Chaitanya, appeared in 5 features, even though he's one. And they're all one, but they're also variety. In this material world, I'm different than you, and I'm different than God. Even in the spiritual world, there's variety. And that's manifested in the Panchatattva. Panchatat Atmakam Krishna. They're all Krishna. Bhakta Rupa. That's Lord Chaitanya. Bhakta Svarupakam. That's Lord Nityananda. The first expansion of Lord Chaitanya. Nityananda. Brajendra Nandana Jay. Sachi Sutta Hoilose. Balaram Hoinu Nitai. Lord Chaitanya appeared. Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared as Nityananda. Panchatattva Bakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa, Svarupakam, Bhaktavataram. And the avatar, the first avatar that came into this material world is Mahavishnu. You know that? That is the beginning of this material world. So that Mahavishnu, that's Advaitacharya. Bhakta Rupa, Surupakam, Bhaktavatara. Bhaktakyam means his devotee, his emblematic devotee or pure devotee. Nabami, Bhakta Shaktikam. Bhakta Shaktikam means the energy, the Shakti Tattva of God. Now, these are all on the spiritual level, but there's all varieties. There's God, the original, his expansion, his avatar, his energy, his spiritual potency, and his jiva soul, great devotee. All transcendental. That's the Panchatattva. So that's why we say Lord Chaitanya has 5 features. These 5. And today we're recognizing the appearance anniversary of the Shakti Tattva of Lord Chaitanya. That's Gadadhar Pandit. And just like you have Krishna, there's Radharani, and Shiva, you have Shakti, and Ram, you have Sita. Yeah. They're always, the Shakti and the Shaktiman always go together. Shakti and Shaktiman. So Lord Chaitanya and Gadadhar Pandit are Shakti, Shaktiman, and Shakti. You follow? Shaktiman. And you won't find in Chaitanya Charitamrita very many descriptions of Gadadhar Pandit's activities. You know why? Because he's always assisting Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was the center. He's God, right? So, when after Lord Chaitanya was first even though he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he instructed us by accepting a guru. Everybody, to make spiritual progress, should accept a bona fide spiritual master who can direct you in making progress in spiritual life. So just to give example, even though Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, he accepted a guru, as did Lord Krishna, as did Lord Ramchandra. They'll to give us practical example. So after Lord Chaitanya got his guru was named Ishwarapuri. He was a sannyasi at that time in Gaya. He came back to Navadvip, his birthplace, and he began in earnest, the Hare Krishna movement, the Sankirtan movement of chanting the holy names. So every night, he was chanting Hare Krishna for several hours with his close associates. You know, God can do anything he wants. He can go to the Super Bowl if he wanted to without getting tickets. He can go to Hawaii if he wants. He can do anything he wants. But you know what he did? He chose to do the Sankirtan, the Hare Krishna movement. He also does things like herd cows, Surabi cows. He does things that he wants. And one of the things he wanted to do was he wanted to chant the holy names every single night for 1 year. 1 year before the Kirtan Sankirtan went out more publicly. And you know who was there with Lord Chaitanya every night when he was chanting the Sankirtan movement? Any guesses? Any guesses? Yes. Gadadhar Pandit was there every day, every time. And when Lord Chaitanya began the Sankirtan movement, he left the confines of his house and he gathered 100,000 gentlemen from the area of Navadvip to go protest the order of Chandkazi, which was to stop the chanting of the holy names. And 100,000 people came and they went to every single island on the way to Modadrum Dweep, I think it was. Yeah, Modadrum Dweep. No. It was Simantadweep. There's 9 islands there. It would take a long time. And you know who was there with him the whole way? Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit. Yes. And when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and he left Navadvip and he went to Puri. He left all of his close associates, his mother, his young wife he left, and went to Puri, and then he went to travel to South India to spread the Hare Krishna movement all over South India, all over India. You know what happened? Gadadhar Pandit, you know what he did? He took sannyas, and he went to Puri. Did you know that? Yeah. Gadadhar Pandit was living just a few houses away from Lord Chaitanya growing up. They were childhood friends. They went to the same school together. Do you have people who go to the same, you remember your classmates? So he was a classmate of Lord Chaitanya, Gadadhar Pandit. And he would always go, and his mom was best friends with Lord Chaitanya's mom. His last name, his father's name was Madhava Mishra. You know what Lord Chaitanya's father's name was? Jagannath Mishra. So they're Mishras. Mishra is a Brahmin name, So they're Mishras. So all these connections that Gadadhar Pandit. So he was working with Lord Chaitanya regularly to distribute and chant the holy name and give it to others. So there's a nice part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the 7th chapter of the Adi Lila that says, when Lord Krishna came, he brought with him a storehouse of love of God. But that storehouse was locked and nobody could get in. You know this? But when Lord Chaitanya came, along with his associates, he broke the lock and took out the contents to distribute them to everywhere. What was the contents? Love of God, Krishna Prema. And he and his associates chanted and danced and tasted the contents themselves and were ecstatic, and they made the rains of love of God had come. And then he and his associates, and one of his associates was Gadadhar Pandit, they distributed the contents of that storehouse freely without considering who was fit and who was unfit. And one thing about their distribution was that when they distributed it, the stock didn't decrease. It increased. Now this is something special, okay? So tell me, say you had $100 in your pocket. And if I told you, if you give away that $100, you'll have $200 in your pocket or $500 in the pocket, is it? Yeah. What do you think? Are you going to give away that $100? You bet. So this is the nature of Krishna Prema distributed by the Panchatattva. That the more they gave it, the more the stock grew. And they became happier and happier by distributing this chanting and chanting of the holy name of God. So that was the business of Gadadhar Pandit, along with, he did that assisting Lord Chaitanya. So, Lord Gadadhar Pandit, each in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit are all mentioned. And their chief disciples are mentioned. It's compared like a tree a tree has branches and sub-branches, etc., right? So Lord Chaitanya's branches are mentioned. There's about over 100 branches. And then Nityananda Prabhu's disciples, the followers are mentioned. And then Gadadhar Pandit's Advaita Acharya's disciples are mentioned, his followers are mentioned. And then Gadadhar Pandit's disciples and followers, branches are mentioned. And there's some very interesting people in the followers of Gadadhar Pandit, which you might not even know. I won't ask the guess because that's a tough question. Did anybody hear of Pushti Marg? Yeah. In Gadadhar Pandit's line, Vallabhacharya is in the Gadadhar Pandit's line. Gadadhar Pandit was a Tridandi sannyasi, and he initiated a sannyasi named Madhavacharya. And Madhavacharya gave initiation to Vallabhacharya. Interesting. Now, there's my godbrother, Vedvyas Priya. Do you know Vedvyas Priya? Vedvyas Swami Maharaj. He's an expert in Pushti Marga stuff. He tells a story about how that happened. There's actually, some just background to this story, but it's very interesting. The Vallabhacharya, Pushti Marga, who wrote the Subodhini Tika, he became a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Gadadhar Pandit. Then there's another very famous individual. His name is Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi in Krishna Leela was Vrishabhanu Maharaj. We know Vrishabhanu. Who's that? Yeah. So Mukunda Datta was one of Lord Chaitanya's associates, and he said, "Come on, I want you to meet some great devotee." So they went and they saw Pundarik. Pundarik Vidyanidhi was from Bangladesh, East Bengal. So when Gadadhar Pandit met him, he was all bedecked in fancy clothes. He wasn't a sannyasi. So in his mind, Gadadhar Pandit thought, this looks like a materialist. But then Mukunda Datta started reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi went into ecstasy and began crying and rolling on the ground. And then Gadadhar Pandit could understand, this is a highly advanced devotee. So then you know what he did? He asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if he could take initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. This is something, yeah. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. There's another famous Vaishnava who's in the line of Gadadhar Pandit, which you may not know. There's 6 Goswamis, Rupa Sanatan, Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatta, Jiva, and Gopal Bhatta. But there was another people we say Goswami who was actually sent to Vrindavan before Rupa and Sanatan. There's Lokanath Goswami, who is the guru of one famous Vaishnava we sing very, very nice songs from, Narottam Das Thakur. So Lokanath Goswami and his associate Bhugarbha Goswami are in the branch of Gadadhar Pandit. This is something. Narottam Das Thakur, at the time that Krishnadas Kaviraj wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Narottam Das wasn't prominent yet because he came later. He came after. He was the next generation after. So these are really powerful people in the line of Gadadhar Pandit. So we're getting so much mercy from Lord Chaitanya through Gadadhar Pandit. And there was another person. In Vrindavan, there's 7 main and early important temples. Maybe you don't know this. There's the Madan Mohan temple by Sanatana Goswami. There's the Govindaji temple by Rupa Goswami. There's the Radha Damodar temple by Jiva Goswami. There's the Radha Raman temple by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And there's the Gopinath temple. Who's the Gopinath? Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath. By who? No, so I gave it this is the hard question for you. Madhu Pandit. Madhu Pandit. So he's the Madhu Pandit, Madhu Pandit. That Madhu Pandit is one of the disciples of Gadadhar Pandit. See more connections. And then at the end you have Gokulananda temple. That's Lokanashami. Yeah, so two of the main temples in Vrindavan are Gadadhar Pandit's followers. And then in Puri, you have, when Lord Chaitanya came to Puri, Gadadhar Pandit came to Puri. And Gadadhar Pandit, he was a sannyasi, but he took something called Kshetra sannyas, means he took a vow not to leave Puri. And he was the main servitor of a deity called Tota Gopinath. Maybe some of you have been to Tota Gopinath temple. It's not far from the Jagannath temple, just down the street, in a place called Yameshwar. So he was doing the seva of Tota Gopinath for most of his life. And regularly, you know what he was doing there at Tota Gopinath? In addition to serving the Tota Gopinath deity, is they would have, what? Yes. They were having the regular daily Srimad Bhagavatam class. And you know who would come to that class? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, and not the, but devotees like you. Why? Because hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridanta Stohya Bhadrani Vidunoti, it makes you progress. It cleans your heart and makes you progress in spiritual life. So Lord Chaitanya was setting the example, and that was arranged by Gadadhar Pandit. Then, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left the planet, you know what he did? He went into the Tota Gopinath temple and never came out. Do you know that? Gadadhar Pandit's temple. Lord Chaitanya went into Gadadhar Pandit's temple and never came out. So the pujaris will tell you that there's a little crack in Tota Gopinath's right knee. That's where Lord Chaitanya entered the deity. That's what they say. But this is Gadadhar Pandit, such an important personality. So we offer our respects to Gadadhar Pandit today in his anniversary of his appearance day. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's going to be Abhishek? No? Oh, you did that in the morning. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you.